there now. That thing's supposed to be coming up in June.
According to the state, they have said that they're moving
I
forward,
think it's going.
according to state DOT. So, they told us what we need to do, so we've done what we need to do, so they say,
So they're the ones that's gonna condemn.
Well, don't you work for the DOT?
Kind of
Kinda sorta.
indirectly. I'm out there with them all the time. I work for a contractor that works for the DOT.
Are you taking your own notes?
we had this big conference call
Are you
and
taking your own notes? Am I taking notes?
we listened.
Take notes.
It wasn't our call, we
We're gonna
listened.
listen
They
till I
said,
get started and
no,
then-
we've done everything
But meeting starts.
that we can do.
Well, yeah,
We're gonna move forward.
well, yeah,
Yes, sir. No, so,
but his daughters, he's got a daughter
What is it?
that's sits
Just put that in.
against us as
Where is
what
that?
Right here, the
And,
brand new cages.
that was the last I heard, that they said they were gonna make him a decent offer,
Man, people are.
and if they didn't, accept,
Okay, so the whole, we gonna brush it
that's
off.
what they told us.
How'd you-
They
how'd
said
you
we're
have it
moving forward.
Um,
So,
I hope to be able to build that one, I hope, but that'll probably be.
what's his
about
name, had it attached up here somehow, I didn't even look. He
I
had
can
screws
put
in
some
the
more
wall.
I can get on that one, it's right behind the house.
is that right?
And
What's,
I
what's
pushed
that
for
right?
years
What's that right there?
to
That's
get
like a
that thing
bungee
to
strap.
back up.
No, that's,
If
that's
something
on
happened
the,
on one of these
cage,
bridges out
that's the
there
bottom of the net.
and close that bridge
Oh, I see.
down, we shut off that water.
Right.
Preston,
They
is it
got to
something
go to
that you
Atkinson
can
and they
shut
got to go to Patterson.
Yeah, he
Right.
had holes, he had screws in it, cause they're both right there.
So, we'll see.
No.
But the way all the folks that were on that call, the way they were all talking,
down?
it wasn't like we're
I know.
gonna ask the county to
Screwed into the
condemn.
wall.
Randall's supposed to be coming.
We're moving forward. It's like, we were like, okay. We were like, what do we need to do?
And that was just the opposite of what they told
Chris,
us when I sat in on the constructability
Yes, sir.
meeting,
you asked him.
a year or 2 years ago on this, and
Come here just a minute.
that was just the opposite of what they told us then. They said, we're not gonna build a bridge. You should just wait and drive across it and stop, turn around and drive back across it, you know, we got to have access all the
I
way.
just seen your picture.
Y'all get the road,
I just noticed
the
it.
right of way, and we'll build a bridge.
Baseball bat.
So,
I'm glad they changed it.
what they told us
Is it
is from our perspective and what we've
That's
seen,
what I was thinking. Maybe
We
he
have
tried to climb or
prescriptive
something,
right-of-way.
stepped on it, I don't know.
because the county has basically maintained
Or is it okay? for
that
you?
road
They don't make it, but we
down
just-
to
we
that
gotta do
bridge
something.
on both sides.
Do you have
At
a-
times.
Right.
I think I've done all this right,
They
but that
closed
would be
it,
just
and
the
they were,
Well, the county's still grading
I done the string key and all that stuff.
both sides.
Copied
Not
it,
as
and I
much
put
as they
Facebook
used to
to the
do.
thing,
But both sides, they're keeping it clear. So
But I put it private.
that's
too.
where DOT said, well, we have prescriptive right of
Yeah,
way.
private.
So we're gonna move forward. So
Sorry, I believe that.
you know the way that works though, right? Since basically you've been around that stuff. If they want it, it gets
Oh, no,
done.
we'll only firm won't where I want it.
I said that.
We only met twice.
If the right day wants it, it gets done.
Yeah,
Let me take you
It doesn't matter necessarily who the day is here though.
Yeah. At least a little better.
It just matters who the day is up there in that tower
Three, yeah.
that says, no, I wanna get that
I
one bid.
think he'll,
And then it matters whoever's down here that's putting some money somewhere to get that one and say, I want it. So my dad was,
As long as right here.
he was the city manager in Valdosta
Mhm.
from 1980 to 93.
Stays at
He was
zero.
the county manager in Douglas County
Isaac
here
said
in
he
Atlanta
was-
from 93 to 07.
He just told me he's on.
So I've been around all this kind of stuff all my life. And Billy Langdale used to be in Lowndes
I
County.
ain't got no pictures on that stuff we done, but.
Okay, so if Mr. Langdale wanted something,
but usually get out
it
there.
got done.
Are they doing the
So
turf?
I've seen how this works. Like Harry Dixon was in Waycross.
Are they doing turpentine right
And
outside?
he would call Mr. Langdale.
Oh my God, why didn't
And
they
I
go
think
to
they'd
the
ride
side?
to Atlanta together. They'd figure out what they, I mean, that's why 84
That's
took
all I can
forever.
smell. My eyes are
And
like-
Mr. Langdale said, I don't want that road paved.
Wildcats getting.
They own all that land, pretty much from Homerville south to Valdosta.
On the rest.
So I've been around this kind of stuff
I'm from
since I was
mowing more.
That was our dinner table discussions growing up for supper, you know, when I was growing up, my dad would come in and say, here's what we're doing this week. So I've been around this stuff forever, and I know how the they work. It just depends on who they is. So,
Lip filler.
but I think they're gonna do it.
It's supposed to be on the June 11th.
You're starting in the clay.
They've got plans on it.
Oh, it's
It's
just
supposed
that
to be
clay.
on the June 11th.
It won't.
Hopefully,
Uh,
hopefully by this time next year, we'll be either have a bridge or
Almost 200
working on a bridge.
Won't that be
no,
great?
I got
Everything going to
it.
school.
It looks like to me,
It's much history there too.
Right.
Short road, I mean,
right.
going.
The crazy thing is, we
All the way through.
did a
Just
pilot
didn't have
We
the
went
grass.
to,
because someone told us that they wanted it. And then when we did it, they said, no, we already done it. I'm like, well, why did you tell us? But there's no real clear title as far as right there at the bridge.
Fire recognition.
The guy couldn't find it. He said, I know they built a bridge back there 100 years ago, but we don't know for sure
Probably one more time.
who deeded that land for that access to that bridge. We can't find that.
They probably wanted to, so probably shut down.
Well, you know, that's how they used to shoot the line. They take that shotgun out there and shoot the, so that's the property line. So, so now you originally from Hortense? So I can't tell you where they all are, but there's Harvey's movie, that cemetery up there,
Just enough to get it out.
that are my relatives. And one of my Harvey relatives married a Strickland, so we got some connectivity to Stricklands that are in that cemetery. And then if you go to,
It's gonna be gone.
Rolliston Cemetery, we got some connectivity off Trinity Road there, in the Rolliston Cemetery. So I got some bloodlines that run through that part of the county.
We'll use it. That's what we always looking for.
So,
I'm think that it's the Harvey side of Gary and Joey Strickland. Do you know those?
I've never heard those names. I don't know.
Their grandparents
Soccer field?
were Harveys. I don't know exactly how far back, but if I understood Joey right, the other day, they actually lived in, I was raised.
Is that right?
4 weeks.
Well, next time my dad comes, he's coming, my mom's big coach. So he's coming to the Easter flowers out next week. So I'll get him to come up here. I'll go up there and then I'll be able to tell you exactly where all that is. So,
If you ever need it, anyway. Yes,
all right. How much longer is this one gonna take?
we got through with it.
That's what I was thinking. Looking,
We pulled the last week, work slab on the other end, Monday. They're tying steel today, to put the tire wall in, they put 4 inch under. Pull that work slab on this end, the end post in,
Little T-ball field,
guardrail
front
up,
two fields?
build a plumes on each end, and spillways on each end, dude. I'm not sure they're going on that.
then we have some baseball crap underneath there.
Little kickers practice.
I don't know which far enough away from the river, they might not.
Can we use the bank?
Well, that depends on how high the river is though.
Not rough up there.
It's gonna come out of ground.
Where does that be, guys?
Joey just told guys, we're gonna give him about a couple minutes before, hopefully he'll get here, so.
Okay.
Yeah, just exit city.
You didn't want to go home tonight, no way, did you?
My wife's in Camden playing pickleball.
Oh, Lord.
So it's Tuesday. Tuesday in Camden, Wednesday at
Baldwin.
on Myers, Brooklyn, and Thursday back in Camden.
Well, if you push these guys, we can get a court in Hortense.
Hey, we working slowly, but we working.
Is that gonna come this far out here, or is everybody gonna start playing pickleball now, or is it?
There's the pickle guru right here.
You wouldn't believe how
It's
big it
yeah.
I'm watching it on Netflix all the time.
It's amazing. Tonight, if we went to Kingsland tonight, where she plays down there, there's 8 courts. There'll be 50 people out there right now playing.
For free.
We were down there Saturday morning, there was 30 people Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. So, before we left, there was about 40.
All of our courts are,
Yeah.
tennis courts are converted over
I know of.
and overlaid with the
Dual
ball.
use.
But
That's the way Fleetfield used to.
There was some up front, and then there's the
The
big
reality
one in
is,
the back.
though, it's a sport, there's 2 things about it. I guarantee you could go
We
play
mentioned
that,
the trees last week.
because you don't have to move.
Up there.
yeah, I thought.
And as long as you don't back up,
Not the
you don't
two
get
shade
hurt.
trees. The 2 shade trees are.
The second thing is, it's a front porch sport.
Pines, I hate
It's
it.
like it used to be when we were little.
Always fine.
And then my papa and grandma would folks, and every afternoon, people would come by and sit down and talk to Mr. and Miss Walker. You go play that sport, everybody's congenial. How's your youngins doing? How's it yours? How's your family? You know, and everybody out there gets to know each other. Like, we went Friday, and she played Friday, and we went out to one of the restaurants, there was about 25 people from there. I mean, it's just like, creating neighbors. So, it's amazing.
Or if we want to use.
Commissioner Hurd is not coming?
I heard nothing from him.
He didn't tell me.
Fence off the rest of that.
Y'all we'll get it started. Everybody understand, I'll say the prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day, Lord. We just thank you for the many blessings, Lord. We just thank you for each and every one of these children, Lord, their parents, their coaches, Lord. We got a new season starting, Lord. We just ask that just safety amongst each and every one of them, Lord. They play hard, Lord. I just hope they learn something new this year, Lord, that they hadn't seen, Lord. Just help our county, and Lord, we just thank you for the basketball teams that did win, Lord, the ones that went, you know, as far as they could go, Lord. We just ask that you just continue blessing this county. In Jesus' name we ask, amen. Yes, sir.
Sure. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm not sure about Mr. Hal. We have not heard from him. Y'all just take a couple minutes just to look over the agenda, some of the updates and all. Would you like to have one? You sure? You good? Anybody have any questions on the updates or the minutes or anything? I know we'll be discussing something as we go. We got a lot of updates. Basketball season's over with. We had a couple of state champions. We really done well this year. Very tickled about that. Starting into our baseball, softball, basketball, things like that. We've got some updates on our fields that we're replacing fencing in. Right now, we got about 3 fields almost completed. The last one will be Slaughterville. I talked with Gil Friday, and as of right now, we're looking at possibly Wednesday or Thursday being through. And that, I guess that could change. I hadn't talked to him lately. And we'll get into a little bit of that later. Joe, you want to give us some updates?
Updates, our concession for basketball, done $11,876.40. Last year's total was $9,476.15. Gate, 11,088, and last year's was 8,900. Gate passes this year were so far $475. Last year we didn't do God gate houses, there wasn't none of those. For our spring season, we got 346 signups and 17 kids on the waiting list. I think we added a couple of that waiting list today. We've got 4 basketball teams, 10 t-ball teams, 3 8U softball, 4 8U baseball, 3 10U softball, 3 10U baseball, 3 12U softball, and 2 12U baseball teams.
Are we pretty close where we was at last year for the 346?
We're a little less than last year, which is good and bad. I mean, you want the numbers to be up, but at the same time, 450 kids last year was hard to, it was hard to schedule for and get the amount of games we try to get.
And I know we kind of put a bind on things, especially with the way we was doing the fencing, but we just had to do it. I mean, it just wasn't no way around it. We had some safety issues that we really had to take care of. Kind of bad timing, but the way I look at it, we got new fencing.
Yeah.
And really, if y'all hadn't looked in May Hunter, you need to ride by and look. I mean, it looks great compared to what we have. We tore down some structures. Hopefully, you know, in the future, maybe we can add a couple structures, just something to work toward. Cleared out in the back of it, as far as pine trees and shrubs and bushes like that, so we can kind of really maintain those fences a little bit better. But really, it looks awesome, and I thank y'all, Mr. Joey, along with the commissioners, along with the board, because you know, we've talked about this and talked about this and talked about this, and now we actually seeing some progress. And I hope everybody that uses those fields, especially when they get straightened out, leveled out, and I hope everybody uses them for, you know, a lot of years, because it's been a long time since I've seen new fence anywhere other than just pieces in the county. So I think that was a good move for us. Anything else, Julie?
Our basketball all-star teams, 8U girls finished 2nd in districts, 8U boys finished 5th in districts, 10U girls 2nd in districts, 10U boys 2nd in districts, 12U girls won districts and state, 12U boys 3rd in districts, and 14U boys was 3rd in districts.
I've got a question while we on this here. I know we getting 2 banners, is that correct?
Yes, sir. We get to.
One in the gym and one,
Now, they're both in the gym,
both of them in the gym.
district championship and state championship.
Are we doing anything special? And the reason I'm just gonna throw this up is just throw it up. I've been to one here before where we had cake, refreshments. Are we gonna just bring them in, give them rings, trophies, whatever? Could we carry them to the commissioner meetings, or either invite the commissioners here? During that time, I know me and you had talked about it, and the time you hadn't received the rings. So hopefully,
If y'all were gonna do something like that, I would suggest somewhere a little bit larger.
oh yeah, well, I'm just throwing it up. I mean, I don't know if
Maybe
y'all
a
wanna do
gym
that.
or something
or-
like that.
What we do as the rec department is we get the banners and we get them rings. And instead of ordering 2 separate rings for district championship and state, what I was planning to do was on one side of the ring I have district champions, on the other side of the ring I have state champions. Now, if the board wants to plan something extra, that's fine with me.
Have we ever had one go to a commissioner meeting?
Yeah,
As far as the
a couple of baseball teams that won district in the past, got, the commissioners presented them with a, just a little, not plaque, but kind of like a little certificate, like we do for the employee of the month kind of thing.
What's your thoughts on that?
There definitely need to be some recognition or something.
Well, I just think it would be kind of neat for the girls and neat for the community.
How long does it take to get a banner?
The banner we order now, and it usually comes in, it takes them a couple of months.
Why wouldn't you just have the commissioners go to like I said, the gym or something, they got the,
We usually do the way I've been doing it is they'll get their banner, everybody see their banner next season, beginning of next season. We'll put all that up.
but certainly something should be done, absolutely.
Will they get the rings also next year, or you won't go ahead and give them to them now?
Those, we can do with the banners, or we can do them before, whenever they come in. I mean, they can be planned out either way.
What's your thoughts, County Manager? Mr. Joy?
Y'all tell me, I mean, I know the commissioners would be happy to have them, you know, probably better to have them at the work session, which is the first Tuesday. So what I've also asked the commissioners is if they would have a problem with us asking DOT about putting signs entering into the county, like I've seen in other places, Brantley County, home of, and put all our recent GRPA winners.
They done that one time here without asking DOT, and
Yeah, we'll,
they were immediately removed.
right, we'll make sure we go through all the hoops. But I mean, I think anything you can do to create and continue to build community pride
Agreed.
is an improvement. Coming from Titletown, USA, Wintersville,
Right.
I like doing what we can to do things like that.
Right.
How long does it take to get the rings in? I mean, that's the best time, so you actually give them something instead of recognizing it. It sounds like you can get those in faster than you can a banner.
Yeah, I usually give the company about 2 months to get them in, but they can get them in 30 days.
Well, what about we give it to them at a commissioner's meeting?
How many girls is there?
There's 10 girls, 11 girls, one couldn't be on the team, and they had her kind of honor.
You're talking about 10 girls plus parents or anybody else that want, that's a little bitty.
Yep.
10 parents, 3 coaches, I mean 10 girls.
Yeah, 10 girls,
10 girls,
coaches,
3 coaches.
families, itty bitty little room.
I went to a Board of Education meeting last night, and we had a room full. They done all the recognitions, sports and whatever else, and then they had a little break, and then if you wanted to leave, everybody left, and they actually conducted the meeting after that, and so, I mean.
Well, I can recommend 2 places. A gym would be easiest, but then also, and I don't want to overstep, because you definitely have to approve it with Dr. Morgan, is using the transportation professional learning room that we have at the bus barn. It's, it would definitely seat
Yeah,
all those folks. But that's something you gotta get approved, obviously, by them. Those are options. So do we need to wait on you to get the rings before we set a date then?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Have you
And
ordered?
then we can kind of talk about it along with
Yeah.
Mr. Joey, you know, see where we can actually get this thing, put together and held.
Yeah.
Because I like, as many people as.
I like the gym because they got a PA system already there.
Well, they have the
Stage.
stage now. That's normally how a traditional ring ceremony goes.
Yeah.
Can y'all move your commission meeting to the gym? So let's do that, let's just wait till we get the gym.
The boss lady likes it right where it's at, and that's where she's gonna have it.
Let's just wait and get the rings, let's talk about it and see what we can plan, get everybody involved with that, so. All right, what else you gotta do?
That's pretty much it for me for updates.
Mr. Joe, you wanna say anything about the fencing?
Fencing sure is expensive these days.
Is there no plan to replace the front part where the T-ball fields were?
So, I would say that's up to y'all, as far as what you wanna do there. What I wanted to do is get all the liability concerns down. And once we get all that stuff up, then Roger, well, it won't be Roger, but our road department's gonna go back in there and put sand out and level all of that and make sure the outfields were all level too. So we could put new fence up there and play soccer there. We, pretty much y'all tell us what you want and then we'll figure out a way to get it done.
Okay.
So there's nothing saying no, but all the liability is gone.
Okay, good.
That's good. That's what we was after.
To me,
Right.
fencing in a big rectangle there would be ideal, because then we can practice soccer, we can practice football, t-ball, blast ball, everything. All the smaller kids, we fit right there.
You making that as a recommendation?
I certainly do. I always heard that.
Making it a one complete rectangle up front, so we can have numerous sports.
Yeah, I recommend that we replace at least,
Is there any way we can get those,
Pine
pine
trees.
trees cut out of there first?
I think that's
I
liability that was left.
mean, I got somebody I can call, but
Yeah, I mean, getting those trees down is not a problem. We already took one of those trees down. That was right there in the middle, so. We can't do it right this minute, because I got a bunch of other storm debris that we're getting up right now.
Yep.
But as soon as we get finished with that, we can get those down.
While we're on it, I do have one other concern over there. They, at some point, they busted the,
I'm-
lid on the septic.
Yep, so Roger's checking to see it's either gonna get pumped or we're gonna fill it in,
Okay,
depending on what septic tank folks say.
okay. That was my biggest concern over there.
An hour ago, there were some guys out there with dirt in a tractor. I don't know if that's
Filling it
filling it in or what.
That's good to me.
Okay, so a motion's been made to square, put fence around that front square. Isaac,
That's fine.
Mr. Randall?
Yes, certainly.
I agree. So we will be talking, I'll be talking with Mr. Joey and see what we can get, moving on that. See what kind of money we got left over and, see if we can't make that happen.
And the time frame for Hortense and Slaughterville is,
Hortense will be done this week, Slaughterville start next week.
It's what, about a week, a little over a week, in a couple of days. I went by Friday and he was already working on the back, and he told me when I texted him, Wednesday should be through. Of course, we had a little bit of rain, so.
in Hortense.
In Hortense. So, getting a lot of drive-by compliments on that.
Good.
The lip is off the field at Slaughterville, so we no longer have an infield that has a lip all around it and everything.
Mhm.
So they have a smooth field there now.
Yep.
But he's got the money for the fence this morning. So he's,
Nice.
And he's staying busy. I mean, I've seen him out there on Sundays. So
That's good.
he knows we need fields.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's dragging around. He
And
knows
he is who again?
Gil Rao. Gil Rao. And he's doing a good job, I think.
he's got Pablo, Guillermo, Jose, Martin, and I don't know the other guys, but
Quite a few.
they work hard.
All right, let's see, I don't see, I know we was gonna have some public participation. Mr. Rock, would you like to speak, or?
I'm just,
Any-
I'm just, thanks for the opportunity.
Would you like to say anything?
Well, we're kind of here on the interest of the Hortense community ball field, so we had a group that met a couple of weeks back, and I think we had 24 head from our community get together. Mr. Jeffrey attended that meeting with us, along with a BOE member and 2 of our county commissioners. So, thank you guys for going ahead and pushing through and getting the fence. That's one of the first things that I've come out of my mouth was the liability issue with the bleachers and the fencing. So, I appreciate that. We kind of spitballed in that meeting, what we would like as a community in that area. Now, I'm well aware we don't have $30,000 to pay a civil engineer to do a comprehensive plan to go in and lay out that park. But the communications that we've had with some of our individuals in our community is we want to do something in that area. And not only for, you know, the current generations that are coming through, but we want it to be a thoughtful planning out process, to where, you know, the next 30, 40, 50 years, that's gonna be a true recreational area on that end of the county for us.
And that's still because, I know Hortensia's an older field and I grew up playing there and, you know, I'd still like to have some input on what we could possibly put
Correct.
at that field, whether it be a basketball court or a tennis court or pickleball or, you know, just whatever we can, you know, do to upgrade some of our existing parks. I know we do have some vandalism in different places, bathrooms being one of the top priorities. And I don't really know how to handle that because we've had cameras, we've caught people.
No way to really handle it.
Yeah, we've asked for help, so I'm asking y'all as a community, if y'all see anything, you know, let somebody know, and that goes with us, anybody riding around really, because we've lost a lot of money just on bathrooms itself. I mean, when you tear up a porta john, you know you're doing something. So it's just, it is what it is in today's world. We just gotta try to do the best we can, and hopefully we'll catch somebody and
Make it example.
set a good example.
What the
Had
best
to
we've had.
hand deliver the message a couple of times in the past to get the point across.
Right. Yeah. So it's definitely a big issue. You know, you try to have some good stuff and make it better for the community, and then this is kind of, you know, how it all plays out. Kind of make you sick in your stomach, but we just keep pushing forward. Just keep pushing forward.
I don't believe it matters where you go, you're gonna have that kind of riffraff that's gonna try to tear up something that somebody else has worked
Yes.
for.
Well, and that's part of the conversations that we've had as a community is if we start building out these areas that people are actively using, it gets more eyes on, you know, and it kind of shines a light. And, you know, we kind of use the term, you shine the light and the cockroaches run, you know, so the more use we get, of course, it's gonna happen. Even up, I live in Bullitt County and it happens at our parks up there too, so, but I did have a question, as far as facility rentals and everything, do y'all rent out your pavilion spaces and all of that?
Most of the stuff that we rent out and charge for is at this park.
Right, and that's what I was saying, so that would be one in that area of the county, so we kind of talked about doing future planning, having like a pavilion area. One of our south end counties is like an open area, then on one end it has 2 bathrooms and a concession in the middle that services the ball field. But then that would also be a potential income as well if you had a space where you could rent out for birthday parties, and it's just a covered open air facility.
I tell you, the more things we can have and get kids involved, I think the better off we are. And, you know, really, and just looking at our sports, it's starting to show, you know, what we do at the rec department at this level, football, basketball, it's starting to show once we get to our high school. And that's kind of the goal is, once you get to high school, you know, we need to be where we, are very, you know, at least Hangwood, Pierce, and Folkestone, Ware County maybe just, you know, a year down the road, but, you know, anybody that we can play or, you know, be close to, I think we're doing a good job, and I appreciate what y'all doing, especially as coaches and leaders.
And y'all talked about participation numbers being down a little bit. Have y'all looked into adding programs, like, we saw the same thing across the board. As you see, as travel ball has just skyrocketed over the last several years, your participation for your rec league diminishes. Kids can go play a tournament any weekend that they want to go play and they're winning a championship ring. Whereas back in the day, you had to win a state title to get a ring. They give them out, you know, in different brackets. I mean, you don't win in, you know, the gold bracket, they put you in the silver and you get a ring.
I said that the other, our last football game, I said, y'all don't, I said, they give out rings like popsicle sticks nowadays. I said, but used to, you had to win everything in order to get one of the
That's
things.
right. So one thing that we've kind of seen in our area that has really grown is Sandlot Baseball. And that's kind of a programming that we run, you know, not only are you battling the travel ball team, but then you're battling, games. You know, and the kids sitting inside and playing the video games the whole time. So we've actually seen a big uptick in just Sandlot to where it's set up on Saturday and Sunday mornings. People go out and it's not very structured, you know, but it's kids that just want to go out, get together and play, they play. That's been really successful.
And we,
for us.
we have had conversation with Mr. Joey, the county manager, and Mr. Joey, about, you know, going different directions other than, hey, baseball, football, softball, you know, the 3 or 4 major, you know, there's a lot of elderly people. And, you know, we kind of like to push for a gym. We've been trying to figure out where we could, you know, come up with the money and what to do. But there's just a lot of stuff that we could do other than football, softball, basketball, you know. And Mr. Howe, you know, he's a big push for your elderlies, whether it be a track, bingo, whatever, you know. So we are looking at different angles, hopefully to grow this rec department in the next, you know, little while. So we got a good county commissioner board. Mr. Joey is from a recreation background, so he's really helping us and kind of giving us a lot of different people that we can speak to as far as what we can do to get help or whatever. So he's really upped our game here on the rec department. We do appreciate that. So.
And I would just kind of tag on to that, because your funding is coming from the county commissioners on that side. I think it's vital. We all talked about the ring ceremony. You could have it wherever you want to have it, but it's just going to be those kids and a few parents and a few spectators. You really need to get them in front of and be at a working meeting with the commissioners, so, and have that presentation happen in front of them. Because that just kind of comes full circle, and they're seeing, you know, yes, they're committing funding for the rec department, but then it's also, these kids are actually benefiting and representing the county.
Right.
So tell Eddie Cannon that if he'll give us a grant for a master plan and Hortense, that I'll be glad to drive up there and pick up that check.
I wish, so I worked for the rec department up there for 10 years under Mike Rollins. And then,
I knew Mike well.
yeah, and then I left before he left the department, but my husband still works with the rec department up there and has for about 19 years and works directly with Mr. Eddie.
So we are, hopefully, it looks like Lowe's Design is going to do a master plan for this part. So we might be able to get them to hold a meeting or something over there too. As far as we might be able to get them to do something countywide.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you're familiar with Lowe's Design.
Any more, I guess we got some more business, Joey, you want to bring us up on that one?
Maintenance building,
Y'all better get them nets off the slab.
I figured y'all
ready
were
to
done
go.
did that. I figured y'all were done did that.
No, but if I take them down now, everybody be driving through there.
It could be, I mean, he said Friday, he could have it here as early as 2 weeks.
Okay, good deal.
So, I mean,
What is it? Metal building?
Yep.
The last commission meeting, they did pass a, I think it was a 30 by 40 metal building,
Two roll-up doors on one side.
2 roll-up doors on one side.
30 by 40? Okay.
Is that big enough?
Yeah, hey, I'll take what I can get.
He's also, we've, and I'm sure y'all aware of it, he's moved the batting cages in between the fields. You know, we talked about that for a while, so that's pretty well complete. I'd like to ask Mr. Joey, now that you're here, about the cement work.
Roger said that should have already been started, so I mentioned that to him last week. I'll check on that again in the morning.
For the back pages? What's
No,
it?
the drains, where it's starting to wash out by the
Oh,
drains and
yeah,
underneath
that's right, yeah.
the cages there.
I'll follow up on that with y'all. I'll let the two of y'all know in the morning.
New business,
I think, as far as old business, I think, the, carts, 1 or 2 carts got approved too.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I need to take care of ordering those, or? Y'all
I'm not
know?
recreation director.
I
I just got your money,
Okay. I just want to make sure I was
Yeah.
okay with
What
order.
did they sign off on?
Kubota.
So, one or?
I think it's one.
Okay.
But we need to get the golf cart stuff finalized. How much was the golf cart gonna be?
Golf carts were, I want to say they were 15 or 16.
I'll go back and pull all that, I've got it.
Yeah.
I'll follow up on that tomorrow too.
All right.
And that was what, that was a 4-seater that we was talking about?
Yep.
4-seater. All right, any more old business? Y'all can think of? Anyone? New business?
New business, we got listed, Mr. McCarty having 2, all-star teams for districts.
Well, that was discussed, yeah, I brought it up at the end of last time. If we could be competitive, and it depends on how many teams you got in each age group, and you're not gonna get 2 competitive teams out of 3 rec teams.
No.
So you might get it out of AU baseball. But everybody else, you're not gonna have enough anyway, so at least it's optional if we did have enough students.
Yeah. And what we've done in the past is anytime the coaches from an age group comes to me and says, hey, I think we've got enough to do 2 all-star teams and be competitive, that's what we do, we send 2.
It's good that that's an option, but likely it's not this year.
Yeah. I thought the only option might would have been the 12U girls, being as that's about the only age group we got travel team
Yeah,
playing.
but you got just over 30, so that
Yeah.
have signed up, and those last 20
Yeah.
aren't gonna be competitive enough to have to. So also, I guess moving on, so what do we call the old rec?
Old Rick.
I know, that's something that I would like changed.
Yeah.
I think we need to name it as a park and to name each field
Yeah.
something Brantley, related to Brantley, or we go back and we look at great athletes that have come through Brantley, and we give them the honor that they're due in some ways and recognize that, be it baseball or softball, and name those fields. I think about over in Jessup, they have being park in the back, and then they have each field, well, every park is named over in Jessup, and then each field is named too.
Yeah.
I think it's super cool that we've got all the elementary mascots here, their names, and I think we should take that over to the old rec. I can't tell you how many times, I can't actually, it's every single time I send a text message as a coach, where are we practicing, new rec or old rec? And frankly, I just think that's so generic and boring.
Yep.
And
So should we stick with the school names, this over
Well,
here?
now, Hortense was brought a field, correct?
No, Irwin.
Could I add something to that? Irvin Brawley gave us the access to that property there for over 20 years to put that field there.
In Hortense?
We built the field, the community
yes, sir.
built the field there, and it was Irvin Field for over 20 years. And then it lost that designation somewhere in there.
Right.
But I would, not only I, but about 99% of the community over there would really appreciate that field being redesignated as Irvin Field, because it was, he was good enough to give us the property to put that field there to begin with, and for all those years.
I agree with that, totally. I think that's something that, for that family, that's a legacy that continues forever. And I think that's something worth honoring.
Yeah, in
And
perpetuity.
I would like, if y'all are okay, once we get the fencing and we get the green light from you guys, I would like to have a field dedication and have their family there, and I can set that up and run if y'all would like.
Yeah.
Are you making that a motion to go back to calling that Irvin Brawley Field?
I do
Do
think
we
that's
not
awesome.
put something there, some kind of,
There was a sign up on the field, and then,
maybe something
yeah,
that won't
that
get
went down,
tampered
got
with,
taken
but-
down at
Yeah.
some point. and it was Irvin Field,
I
IRWI.
don't remember if it was, I believe it was Dion, D-I-N.
We'll
But
double
I'm
check
not
that.
sure,
still.
we'll double check,
Yeah.
yeah.
And on those lines,
Spelling, please.
I think we bring that to
Yeah.
Isaac?
the field. The
Absolutely.
field's by the sheriff's department. I don't know what
I'll
we
put
name
that
it.
in the paper.
Well, I think it should be called a park, and then, you know, I think each individual field should have a name of some sort.
Well, I think now that we are getting new fence and
Exactly.
kind of making everything look a little better, I think now is the time to do it, so. We all agreed for Hortense. Now, can we come up with a name
For everybody
for
else.
Nahunta or Slaughterville?
I say on the rest of them, we do a little research and see.
Let's do that.
I will need to go before the commissioners to be approved,
That'll work.
any naming that's done,
That'll
so,
work.
so then it'll be in the minutes permanently, and
Yeah.
it'll be a history
I agree.
of that record.
Now, do we need to come, since we do have the Hortense field, go ahead and do that, or just kind of wait until we
I
get
say
all?
let's do it, I guarantee you right now, I know the two commissioners right there are gonna say, do it, so.
Okay.
Well, one of them played now, there were two
Right.
of them, both
They'll
of
build the
them,
field.
both of them
Right.
played, and one of them helped us build the field, so.
So they're gonna
And
say,
then signage. Right,
Yes,
because
yes, yes.
Yes.
I also can't tell you how many people that have moved into Brantley and play baseball and softball and have no idea where the old rec is. And to me, I'm like, are you crazy?
I talk to them all the time.
But they don't, and so I literally have to look up the address to the sheriff's department and say,
That's right
go
there.
here. And so you begin changing the vernacular of how people speak about these places, the more you say, practices at such and such park at the blank field. Or even here, stop saying new rec, call it Satilla Fields and everything that we do, because if you don't, it's gonna keep being called new rec and old rec, and it's just boring.
So we'll bring up Hortense with the commissioners, and we will discuss.
I'm gonna get that voted on before that meeting. If it's to be done before then, we'll try to have it, go ahead and get signed and that kind of stuff moving,
We'll
and
get,
then,
we'll double check the spelling, make sure the correct spelling
Yeah,
is
can you do
to
that?
you guys. Yeah.
I'd hate to miss.
Definitely don't wanna do that.
And then even, you know, do some research on the fields over by the sheriff's department. I think you put it out too, you got to hold a community meeting and have suggestions, and people give names and stories of great players that have come through. I think that's something that you consider and then put
The
it
other
out.
problem would be who would you, if there's a few of them, who would you decide between?
And that's what
I
voting
think that's when
for.
you break it down to fields,
If
and
we
you get
had
as
that.
many as you can,
Yeah.
you know. I know there's a fellow that used to go to church with us at Southside there that, lived here his whole life, but he used to play professional ball. And I cannot think of his name, I'm sure he'd written up.
Ben Jones,
That was it.
Paul Smith.
That's wrong.
who's the young man that passed away with cancer
Uh,
last year, that played baseball, that lived in Hoboken?
Married Morgan Thomas.
yeah.
Good with that.
Right.
I'm even thinking about, somebody just comes to mind is Eric Johns. Probably,
Jamie Carter.
but Eric was an athlete in 3 sports, and if I'm not mistaken, just after he passed, there was an article put out about him being one of the winningest players, period, in all of Brantley history. And I think that's something that
Yeah.
is just, he graduated just about 20 years ago, so that's fairly recent. As much as we want to honor those folks who are far older than that, we don't have to think back too far to find great athletes that came through Brantley. So anyways, that's something that definitely can be up for discussion.
And tons of talent that's been wasted because we didn't have the road paved, ahead of them, to where they could get out like they can now.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Joe, you want to discuss the research?
The resurfacing of Slaughterville, we've only got the one price, I think.
Is that for the basketball or?
As for washing it,
That's not for the basketball.
it's just for the tennis court. $20,390. I've done a little bit of research, and the last time it was done was 2019.
Bunch of cracks for that short of a
I was thinking that, I thought it was just done, so 5 years.
And Sarah, do you remember the company?
It's in your folder, in your big black folder. That I went through and organized.
And this one here?
Nope, the big one, big 3-ring binder that's got all the dividers in it.
All right. But we're going to have to see if we can get 2 more.
So the problem, just so you all will know kind of what's going on with court issues. So there are a minimal number of companies that are doing court resurfacing work. They're building courts. They're building a bunch of pickleball courts, but they're not doing a lot of resurfacing. There's one company, Talbot Tennis, that's out of Atlanta, that has built courts all over the place. If you can find out who just finished building the courts at North Glen, because they built 12 courts, pickleball courts at North Glen. But the problem you have is if these companies are so busy building, they don't like to stop building to come resurface. This company is a resurface company. That's what they do. So they don't go out and build new courts, they go out and fix old courts. So they could do it, if we said, y'all want to do it, and we took it to the commissioners, they could do it probably within a month. The court surface is not bad, the cracks are bad. There's significant cracking on the court. If you went down to Camden where my wife's playing right now, those courts are terrible. I mean, they're horrendous. So we're not in a situation where it's a crisis issue, but my perspective is that is one of the things that gets used as much as anything in this county.
Daily.
And during the summer, there's lessons out there at least 3 days a week in the mornings.
The money that we use for the fencing, is there any more left or no?
I'll get you an answer on that.
I was just thinking if there was anything left, that was something we didn't even know about, we could just.
Right.
So with your resurfacing company, is the company that coming in, are they responsible for the site prep, or do y'all have to do the site prep?
No, they'll do it. Yeah. They'll actually, this company has a new product they're using to seal all those cracks. What they did in Camden, when I was the executive director of the PSA down there, when we did those, Talbot Tennis did those. And the product and process they use is what's already in less than 3 years of shot. And so,
Are we good with one quote?
well, if we can get somebody else to give us a quote, and that's why I said if you can find out who built those courts, I'll reach out to them
Okay.
myself and try to see what I can do. Talbot won't call us back. He won't go down to Camden and fix what he messed up too. I mean, so he's just, but the last time I saw him, he was like, man, I don't have enough crews to do all the work I'm doing. I'm just up to my nose in alligators building courts. So.
Well, from this last experience, are y'all writing in with the contracts like a warranty?
We would. We did down there and they didn't honor it. So.
We've also got on our schedule to get over there and pressure wash that surface soon.
So we all in agreement that we do need to resurface that.
Definitely need it.
And I will talk with Ray at North Glen, see what he comes up with. I'll get with Mr. Jody and I'll get with you.
If we can get multiple quotes
Hopefully we can move forward.
before the board meeting, y'all don't have a problem with it. If I can find the money with us moving forward. Okay.
Would they be willing to work us up a price on redoing the surface on the basketball courts too?
Yeah, I'll talk to them tomorrow.
Everybody good with that? You good as
Yes.
All right. Playground inspections, and this was what I was, did you ever, Mr. Julie had somebody come in and look at different, and I think it's on the very last piece of paper, some of the issues that we have with some of the playgrounds, whether it be,
The,
Bolts too long,
the stuff that we was able to take care of ourselves, we've gotten taken care of. There wasn't a inspection on here for Waynesville. I can about imagine he'd probably recommend just that got to be replaced. I think it's a little bit older than this one out here, and this one is starting to show a lot of signs of, well, I mean, it failed a lot of stuff on the inspection.
did we move those, that outer perimeter cars that where you jump and where you land?
No, sir. If there's more rubber mulch brought in and brought back up to where it's supposed to be, I think we would be inside the parameter, because it's got to be the same measurement from the ground to the top to from the swing to the edge. So if the mulch is brought back up to where it's supposed to be, I think we would be inside. No?
Guess say it's gotta be
2 times the length of the chain
chain.
from the pole.
Is it
Yes,
2
sir.
times length? Okay, I thought it was the same length.
So the problem you have is you can fix it coming this way. You can't fix it going that way because it's too close to the other playground equipment.
Well, in this way, I think there's, this way and that way, both have sprinkler heads right on the outside of it.
Could we remove the swing and put it in a different area? I mean, I know you can, but,
Hey, somebody come in and do it.
yeah, that's, I mean, either,
That's the catch there, but I mean, most of the stuff there is about time to be replaced. I mean, it's all starting to dry rot and,
well, my next question, where you, have you looked for the,
So one of the other things about this boy, he works for Game Time, which obviously is a high-end playground equipment company. But his company also refurbishes playground equipment. And so he could possibly come back and tell us what he could do to refurbish the set. I mean, like, have y'all looked at the cost of playground equipment? Y'all have any idea what it is?
Yeah.
So a $3,000 slide, he can refurbish and make it look, I mean, and that, you can see one at Howard People's Park in Camden. It looks brand new for $500. So, now none of these are $3,000 slides out here, none of these are that big, but, so we can get him to come back and, or he probably got pictures, he probably can quote most of that from what he already's done.
and this is the same guy here?
Yeah, his name's Steve Larson. I'm gonna check on Waynesville, because I gave him I asked him to do Waynesville also, so I'll find out what's up with that. And, you know, the problem we have is, there's no one here that's a CPSI, okay? Ray's a CPSI, but you know he told me no.
Yeah.
You know,
I've asked him to,
I mean,
he don't want the responsibility or the liability of coming over here and something go astray. So, yeah.
CPSI is,
certified playground safety
Certified.
inspector.
Are y'all gonna send someone for that? Because we have that in bullet.
Right, we had a CPSI come in.
Well, I'm asking, or why wouldn't y'all pay for that certification? I know it's a high, it's like an 85% fail rate for the test, so the person that you send has to be able to pay attention. And it's really kind of boring, the lecture part of it, but it's the details in that, so they need to be a detail-oriented person.
So the issue from my perspective is, and I'm not saying Joey doesn't have anybody that could do that, but
Y'all know the liability?
no, I haven't seen anyone that can pass that test yet. Because it's a very difficult test. I mean, I had staff that I sent in Camden 3 times and never passed it.
My husband's one.
Yeah, so see, so you can appreciate it's a very hard test. I'm not saying, if he can, if he's got somebody that says, we'll get them the material and they'll study the material,
That's
then I'll send his
You have to
guy,
study before you
Right.
walk in and
I'll send
the
his-
lecture's like pulling teeth.
his guy this year. You know, if GRPA's doing it or NRPA, I don't have a problem with it.
I think it took about 15 years. My husband was the first one that went and got the certification. And we have 2 guys now that are on staff.
It'd be better if we had somebody,
Yeah.
you know, if we had somebody, I don't think the school system has anybody either.
This is making my wheels turn here.
So if we had somebody, then we can contract with the school to provide that same service we're doing. So-
And they could potentially, contract out to other counties as
Right.
well.
So I'm totally for doing it if we have somebody that's willing to go, that's willing to study. Because the guys that I sent 3 times said, oh, yes, sir, Mr. Joe, we studied, and well, what you have to do on the test, well, we didn't pass, so
Can I ask how much he charged?
I'll go back and get that. I think he had a set rate per field. I think it was, I can't remember, I think it might have been $300 a part, but I'll go back and check.
Let me see if he knows how much the certification costs too.
Yeah, it's not very expensive
It's
if
not.
they take the test, like $85.
Yeah, I think Ray hates it. Or he was, yeah,
Well, you know who made him do it, right?
probably Wesley.
Wes. Wes made
Well,
him.
and they may can and go every time and keep it up. It's not really in his job scope anymore.
Yeah, Wesley made Ray do it, yeah. Wesley had his and he made Ray do his.
I think having somebody too will help us a lot, because on the 2 playgrounds that are less than a year old, we did stuff like paid $600 for a handicap ramp thing on it, which none of the stuff on the playground is handicap accessible. There's not a sidewalk going to it, so it failed the inspection. I mean, we spend a lot of unnecessary money with not knowing exactly what we're doing.
I agree.
That one we built that Blythe House, $450,000, and the whole thing's handicap accessible.
I wish ours was.
$150,000.
I wish ours was.
But like you said, we gotta have parking pads, and we gotta have sidewalks, and we got just, there's a lot of stuff to that. Which, hey, they like to play too.
Yeah, of course.
So,
Y'all get a lot more SPOS money at Glenn, why don't y'all give us a grant?
Mm-hmm.
I'll talk with Miss Lisa, see what we can work out.
Tell her I'll be happy to do whatever we can.
Whatever we need.
Call it helping out your neighbors.
That's right, that's right. Probably half of the bunch that works down there from Brandon anyway. Anything else? Anything else we need to talk about, or y'all like to discuss?
The Nahunta swings, his suggestion was we need them taken down. Be part of the stuff over there.
I was gonna get Gil to do that while he had his tractor over there.
We'll take them up. We took those ones that Hortense up that were, should never.
That's the first thing Candace said when we walked out there, is those gotta go.
That's the first thing I said when I got here. It just took me about 8
So,
months to get it
we're
done.
gonna have a plan to put something back at
too.
the unnamed fields.
We need that. We need a playground over
I
there.
can
We
hear
did
that coming.
that, we should have put that one probably over there, honestly, that playground.
I think it might be to our advantage to see if we're going to use Los, and we had them and one other company, and I've got to get an actual price from both of them, but I think if we're going to use them, we might just say, hey, we can't afford a comprehensive master plan, okay? Because it costs us $90,000 in Canton to do a countywide comprehensive master plan. We don't have that kind of money, but I'll see if Los might be willing to hold a couple of town hall meetings for outside parks and what they charge us for that. So,
He said he thought through the NRPA, it was $400 to $500 for the class and around $125 to take the test.
125. So, if you got somebody that wants to do it, we'll do that the next time GRPA and NRPA offer it. Normally they do it in Griffin, because my buddy TJ Emberger hosts that thing just about every year, so.
I'll check with them, see.
But, I'm telling
Gotta
you,
be serious about it.
Yeah.
if they're not
It
gonna
must be just
study,
as cheap to pay
we're
something.
not gonna spend that money,
Yep.
okay?
You need to lock them down, you need to take care of them if they don't.
Yep.
I mean, I would say that we could conceivably even increase their salary with that certification. Okay? I mean, I can't tell you we'll give them a ton of money, but I would say we could conceivably give them a raise
Bump a
for
little
that.
bit.
Okay? So, it would be to the county's benefit and to the school system's benefit to have that person here in the county.
Absolutely. Especially with y'all, when
We got
all the schools together.
So,
Any complaints? Any complaints that you've heard of? Anybody?
I think most of the ones we've had, we've already dealt with. But while we're at fixing parks and talking about outside parks, the senior center there, I've ordered a new rim for it. It's just a broken rim on one of the goals. But, those goals are at least the same age as the ones we removed from Slaughterville. We need to soon look at doing something with that little court over there. It really could use expanding because it's a small little court.
Yep, and resurfacing too, but,
Yeah.
Maybe we can get Jalen Williams to throw in some.
You definitely would name it after him.
I can see that.
Keep your eyes and ears open for anything that people's talking about, whether it's pickleball, basketball, whatever. Issues, complaints, what we'd like to see, what we don't want to see.
Speaking of Jalen, next Tuesday is Jalen Williams Day. Y'all don't know that.
I saw.
Yeah, up in the school system.
Anything we can do to better our community. Let's try to do it.
Before I forget about it too, I may have mentioned it last meeting I was at. I do have kind of a celebrity in the room,
I see that.
No.
coaching some football on the internet there.
Right,
I was just,
right under Nick Saban.
no.
Anything else, guys? We appreciate y'all staying
Yep.
around, hanging around, all your input. Give us something to think about. That's what we're here for. We need all the help we get. We appreciate it.
I've been impressed.
We appreciate it.
We're
Mr.
coming.
Joey, we appreciate you.
We've come a long way from what the last meeting I
Well, I think we got a good board and we just keep pushing. That's all we can do.
Mr. Howe's wife was not feeling well,
Oh.
so, because I had some things I wanted to talk with him about county business while I was hoping he was gonna be here, so.
Speaking of celebrities, we got one here too.
She's talking about.
Channel what, Channel 4?
Oh,
You're big time now.
Yeah. Somebody had to do it, none of the other volunteers had to do it. If you're gonna wear the hat that says county manager, sometimes you just
You gotta play the part, right?
Big man.
The cover of the GON, the guy that's been.
Oh, yeah, I remember, yeah, that was
Parks Division.
Okay.
We just showed up here, well, all
Not recent.
counted, all the South.
Why didn't you tell me?
They say they're starting to notice
Yeah.
all through the years, yeah, they have the football. They're noticing the South End things now, the difference in the.
So I don't know if you knew, but they offered me that job
And, all the way up through high school.
right before COVID.
What school was
And
that?
so my wife and I went up there and we looked at properties. I have a friend, Beth, her name's Beth Clifford, that has lived in Sexville forever. So they, her and her husband took us around, we looked at property and everything. My wife's parents live in here and,
You're the one that, because your wife didn't want to move that far up.
yeah.
I remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
she decided she did not, because that is, and what, and I have a financial services business, but I went to Canada and cleaned up a mess. And Wayne Gaze, a good friend of mine, I knew Mike well before all of this happened with him. I was on the GRP executive committee for years, and so that's one of the best jobs in the state.
So you know, Hawk, the whole crew up there.
So I know they, got
but we haven't ever had
So
anyone
one of the
push
committee departments,
that's interested in
actually in
and
Southeast.
coming up with spending the money.
Sheila said, that's just too far from.
Well, and I remember that whole process, because it was
I
a
said that.
process, that y'all went
All
through,
my
the
things.
interviews and everything, and they told me that, you know, they made an offer and all, and then, and everybody was tickled to death, and then come to find out, you
And I said, don't be that
know,
crazy.
plans changed, so, but if Mr. Eddie kind of
Please
fit
don't
right
be
in
that
with
guy. I said, I
them,
was
so.
never
that guy.
I don't want
Yeah.
y'all to be that guy. That's exactly
I
what
know
I said on
Eddie
that. I said, I
well.
don't want
You
y'all to
won't
be that
make
guy. Please don't.
GOP
I've had people
board,
message me on Facebook.
Yeah.
and so when they got him, I was like, well, they got
Well, both of them actually said they couldn't find my email address on the
Well,
site.
well, I'm glad
So-
you're here, because this is kind of our, I'm born and raised here, and then we spend a lot of our weekends coming back here, so.
Oh,
and
is
then
it
our-
hard to get going? I gotta get these.
We're looking at our transition plan.
I shall see
you later.
I
Even, even
kind of coming back, so.
I hate to interrupt y'all, but,
she's gonna retire.
also,
But
we
she
have
lives up there,
a live stream that we do with all of our games, as many as we can,
but they're willing to-
even away games.
They don't have any-
If y'all can get people to subscribe to it,
always have.
if we can get it to a point where we're making money, it takes a little bit off the taxpayers.
So, we will, I'll see if we can, I think Lowe's is probably gonna get the master plan for years, and I'll see if they might.
Well, and I even asked Cannon to pull up, because he's got some program, he showed it to me. And he could pull from, like, the tax assessor's website, the land and overlay, because I was asking, like, the ball field, like, how many football fields can we fit in the outfield, and then the property, across the road, you know, how to lay that out, and so I was kind of getting him, pushing him to do some work for me on the side, just to see, kind of, give some ideas, to see what we can do.
Well, I'm trying to get